Welcome to the Breaking the Silence podcast. I am your host, Author Nikki Nicole. Here I believe in winning together and creating a safe, supportive space for people to share their stories and start their healing journey. My passion is to help people confront hidden battles, embrace their truths, and take steps towards a more fulfilling life. Every episode is designed to break the silence on topics that often go unspoken, leading to conversations that uplift, inspire, and transform. Join me as we break the barriers and find strength through shared experiences, one story at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to another powerful episode of Breaking the Silence. I am your host, Coach Nikki Nicole, and this is the platform where the light shines on incredible people who are doing great things and making a difference in the world. Together, we will uncover untold stories, break barriers, and challenge the norms to inspire change. So get ready to be inspired, learn, and join this movement as we break the silence on issues that matter the most and bring awareness to great people in the world. So let's dive into today's episode. Today's guest is T-Keyz Hawkins. He's an award-winning gospel artist, producer, songwriter, and he's the host of Oh My God Lit podcast. Yeah, I know he wears a lot of hats. I don't know how he's doing that. He is also from Greensboro, North Carolina, but currently residing in Haines City, Florida, with his wife, Desiree Hawkins. I would tell you more about this amazing man, but you have to continue watching to hear just how amazing he is. So after the countdown, please welcome T-Keyz to the Breaking the Silence platform.
Welcome to OMG LIT Airlines. Please remember this flight is for lit people only. Check your ticket to make sure you are on the right flight. We need your energy and engagement. Please share on social media. Buckle up, sit tight, enjoy the flight. Thank you for choosing OMG LIT Airlines.
Ready? Come on! It's the kind of night this gonna be, y'all. Lit party. Yeah. Come on. Yo, hands like this. Come on, y'all. We gon' praise God in here, y'all. Listen. They said I wouldn't make it.
They said I wouldn't make it.
Said I wouldn't make it through.
They said I wouldn't make it through.
Hey, I just wanna let you know that
I made it.
we've been last for a night.
We've been last for a night.
Joy coming in the morning.
Joy coming in the morning.
It's not by power nor by might.
It's not by power nor by
Just know
might.
that.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being a guest on my platform. Tell
Yes,
everybody a
man.
little bit about yourself that I haven't. I didn't give them all the good stuff, so you got to give them a little bit, just a little bit.
Oh, you did? Oh man, look. So I'm T-Keyz Hawkins, all the way from Greensboro, North Carolina. I am 31 years old, yo. I will be 32 April 28th of this year. First of all, breaking the silence. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everybody that's going to be watching. So I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. I've been here in Orlando 6 years now, and been married 5. So yeah, I'm a musician, songwriter. I do a little bit of podcasting. A graphic designer. So it's photography. I do a little bit of photography as well. And so God has really placed a lot of gifts in my hands, y'all. So I'm very grateful for that. And thank you also for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. When God puts those gifts in your hands, you don't know what to do with them.
You gotta, I mean, you just gotta use them. Use them to your best ability. You know what I'm saying? I believe that the word says that God makes room for your gifts.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, in order for God to make room for your gifts, I think time management is very important. So time management as far as practicing and really honing your skills and studying. You got to study to show yourself approved as well. So like, if you want God to make room for your gifts, you got to put in the time. So
absolutely.
there you go.
I was like, he wears so many hats. So what I'm gonna talk about today is your journey as an artist and Oh My God Lit podcast. So let's talk about you as the artist. We often hear about artists finding their own voice in music, but for you, how did you find your spiritual voice within gospel music?
Well, first of all, I can never do anything without addressing my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's always first in my life. Really what started it, and I don't want to go too fast, but like I remember growing up, my granddaddy, he was the bishop. My mom, she's a minister. My aunt, she was the minister of music, and now she's currently have taken over the church that my granddaddy was pastoring over. And so just having a lot of leaders in the family, and of course, my brothers are musicians, and I had a stepfather. He's a musician as well, and so like he was the one that taught me how to play. So it really just started just by him teaching me, and then of course, being around different musicians along the way. I really wasn't even. I'm going to be real with you. I really wasn't even trying to like do music. I wasn't even like trying to do it. It was just something that kind of fell on me. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just amazing how God will add things to you when you're not looking for it. You know what I mean? So that's why being in the room, it always matters. It don't matter which room. The Bible says, despise not the small beginnings. Your beginning might look small, but don't despise small beginnings, because God could be adding something to you. You might not use it right away, but then later on you'll start using it. So let's get to it. So like later on, I was maybe like 10 years old, learning how to play. I didn't start playing for the church until maybe like in my teenage years. So not only did I play the keys, I was also a drummer. I started off as a drummer, as a baby. So drummer, being a drummer is my first love, right? So then the keys really didn't happen until I got like older. Like I started playing for churches and things like that. And so one of the craziest stories, I got to tell you this. One of the craziest stories is that when I was in school, I had a disability. I had like a learning disability or whatever. And so I would take like side classes, And so, I graduated, all that good stuff. So maybe about 2014, since we're talking about music, 2014, I was just like, man, like, I kind of feel like God is leading me to write. But, I got, this deficiency, you know what I mean? I'm just like, are people going to understand what I'm trying to say?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like in my writing, because I had issues writing and reading. I'm talking like side classes, regular classes, after school, tutoring, summer school. Like it was like that almost every year. And so about 2014, I had this song called OMG. So that's for the whole OMG, that we're going to get into that. So I had this song called OMG. And then around that time, I was partnered with somebody that's in Greensboro. He wrote the song, and I was just like, let me just write a verse. Let me just see if people enjoy the verse. So I written the verse. I stepped out on faith. It was pretty much like a Moses experience. when God told Moses to tell Pharaoh to let my people go, but I got a stuttering issue, I got a speech, I got a, and so it was just like that. So I was just like, is people really going to understand
Right.
what it is that I'm trying to say or express in this writing? And so like when I written it, and we finally put the song out, right? OMG, we finally put the song out. And so to this day, that same station is still playing that song to this day in my hometown in Greensboro. Shout out to 90.1. I believe it's FM. I think it's an FM station. But to this day, it's like they still are playing this song. They're still showing that song some love. And then like when I would talk to people, they would say, "Man, I like that verse." I was just like, I didn't think y'all was gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? So your first project is always like trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
After you done learn from your first project, when it's time to do the second one, it's like, okay, it's like you start getting good. But that third and fourth one though, it's like I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing, it's nothing but take off from there. So but yeah, so that's what really got me into music, just family and being around a lot of different musicians. And yeah.
Nice. I love it. It's funny that you said trial and error. I say that a lot. I said, everything that I do with podcasting is trial and error.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
But once you get it, once you really get it, after all the research and all the work you put into it, you're right. You just take off.
You do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you just flow with it. So
Flow with it.
Yeah.
So now you got to tell me the story behind your name, T-Keyz. Now we know that you play the keys, but why did you specifically say, all right, let me do this name?
Oh my goodness. You're not gonna believe it. Like when I was in high school, I used to listen to Alicia Keys.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I was just like, Alicia Keys, I play keys, T-Keyz, because when I was in school, they always called me T-Rock because I like the rock. You know what I mean? Like, I used to watch wrestling a lot, so I was just like, T-Rock? Nah. So then later on, it was just like, maybe like my 10th, 11th grade year, I was just like, I like Alicia Keys, I play the keys, T-Keyz. So then I started making shirts with my name on it. People didn't understand, like, bro, why would you wearing your name on your shirt? You know what I'm saying? So like, but that kind of cultivated the entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand it back then because I was super young. I was mad young, but I just knew I had this gift of music, and I would have these instrumentals that I would do, and the students, they would literally take out about $5 they'd buy, because that's how much I was charging for it. It was $5. They had change. I had this one girl, I never forget it. Her name is Eliza. She had a whole lot of change, $5 worth of change, and gave it to me at school. I'm just like, yo, like if people are gonna give like that to my music, I might as well just keep doing music. You know what I'm saying? Like if people are willing to give their last. And just keep in mind, like at that time, it was just instrumentals. So the production starting out, it was, you know what I'm saying? So so that pretty much helped me not only musically, but that kind of geared me towards the first single, OMG. Because I mean, I was already producing, you know what I'm saying? So like small beginning, right? So like that pretty much helped me with that first single, because I was already doing music anyway and selling it in school. Like I used to, well, you can't sell that in school. You can't do that. Boy, I was selling them.
Boy,
the teachers was buying them. You know what I'm saying? And so, so that just going down that route, selling CDs and things like that out the trunk of my car, out of my locker, wearing T-shirts, and people just did not get. They knew I stood out. They just saw me as a weird guy. And so, but I'm grateful for the journey, though.
You got to be grateful. You got to be grateful.
I'm very grateful for that journey, because I mean, just that alone has taught me the importance of being persistent and consistent. You know what I'm saying? And so, that in itself was what was fulfilling for me. Because in school, I had that deficiency, and I was also getting bullied and picked on, and from the car I drove to the clothes that I wore, because I didn't always wear nice stuff. Like they wore the name brand, the Rockawares and the G Units and the this and the that. This was back in the day. So
yeah, I remember Rockaware and the G Units.
yeah,
Your age.
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I had an outfit or two, you know what I mean? But it wasn't, I didn't look like everybody else. I didn't sound like everybody else. And I was almost embarrassed, because when you are consistently bullied, consistently, picked at, talked about, like, I'm not talking about behind your back. I'm talking about like in your face, with a classroom of 20 to 30, at least 30 students per class. And I never forget this one day. It was a student in my class. He had a 3-ring binder. He threw it at my face. This was like the end of grade testing and all of that. So like he took this 3-ring binder and threw it in my face, and I couldn't do nothing about it, because if I would have interfered with that test, I would have failed. You know what I'm saying? So like, so just consistent, consistently being bullied. My mom, she would have to come to the school just about every other month or so, you know what I'm saying? Because it was just always somebody, And so, I had thoughts of, maybe I should just do private school or something, or homeschool, because, but, outside of, being bullied and the whole deficiency, just the music itself, doing those instrumentals, and, just being surrounded with musicians, that pretty much, what helped cultivate the music side.
Right. Awesome, man. You had an awesome journey in this. Yeah. So what do you believe is the biggest challenge for gospel artists today? And how do you see music or your platform as helping them overcome that challenge?
I think it's authenticity, because now everything is AI.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know what I mean? And that's just what I just really think that it's authenticity. It's the real reason behind why you're doing what you. It's like we forget those things, to do the popular things, and the popular sound, and it's amazing that you asked me that, because also, like, along my journey of music, I would always listen to Tye Tribbett, and so like when I was in school, especially when I had free time and stuff like that, I would always listen to Tye Tribbett. And this is like every day, like day and night. That he was just he was all that I listened to, like day and night. And so, just listening to him and just seeing, his journey, and listening to his story, even today, you know what I mean? I'm just like, that sounds similar to me. Like I went through those same things, you know what I'm saying? Just in a different form. But so I'm just like, man, and I would never forget it. My mom, she was just like, what is it about Tye Tribbett that is just drawing you like that? And I said, Mom, I don't know. I said, I know for a fact that I'm not supposed to be in North Carolina alone. I said, I know I'm not supposed to be in North Carolina alone. I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like I belong there. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So, but just watching, because let me get back to the question. So you asked, what do we think that we're missing in gospel music? So I think it's the authenticity, why we doing what we doing. And then, a part of my influence have been Tye Tribbett, because I've seen the authenticity. I've heard his story. His story is pretty much in his music, if you really listen to it. To me, now, everybody here and comprehend differently. But so yeah, so that's pretty much what did it for me. Just watching him, listening to his music, listening to his word, listening to how sincere and how real he bought the word, because that helped me get through the bullying, the personal drama, that I was dealing with, as I was pursuing this thing of music. So I know this is heavy. Is this too much?
Listen, I'm over here like,
Yeah, so you
I
know,
didn't expect all that. I was like, wow. Man,
yeah,
I'm just listening to you because you know you have a story. So I'm just taking it all in and just letting you get it all out at the same time.
yes,
So
man.
on the flip
Absolutely.
side, now we covered the challenges. What do you think is the biggest misconception about being a gospel artist? Because big time artists like Shirley Caesar and all these type of artists out there. How do you work through that challenge and change that perception through your music?
Well, that all comes with, just knowing who you are and what your pursuit is. I think the misconception is when they see the numbers, when they
Yes.
see the fame, when they see the interviews, when they see, because I remember coming up, I was just like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to, like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? But um, it's not what people think it is. It's not. Um, so just knowing who you are, being integral. The Bible says, watch this, write the vision and make it plain. What is your vision?
Mm.
What is your vision? Like what is your vision? What is your plan? What is God telling you to do? Because honestly, God never promised nobody a gospel career.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So God never, he never told us that, he did say that he'll make our name great, but it doesn't mean that we're going to go viral.
That's true. That's true.
It don't mean that, we're going to be gospel stars.
Listen, and that means all. I was sitting here watching the Clark sisters
Yeah.
last night. And I was like, man, they went through a lot on that journey. They had a
Oh,
mother
they
that was
did.
overbearing, that wanted them to sing and sing it the right way because she was in a big position herself as a
Yeah.
musician over the thing. So they went through all of that, and then next thing you know, life started lifing.
Yeah.
Things started happening. You had one of the Clark sisters having babies after babies and just life. But I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people think that gospel artists and artists in general, celebrities in general,
Mm.
don't go through things, and they think when they do go through things that that's a bad thing. They're human too.
Right.
They're human too. Like they're gonna go through things too. The only difference between them and people of the world is they have money and famous and they're rich and all this type of things, but they're still gonna go through the same things that we go through.
I'm gonna tell you something that my barber told me a few weeks ago. He said nothing about God is broke.
That's a mouthful.
He said nothing because if you think about let's just talk about heaven. If you think about heaven, the streets are paved with gold.
Gold.
And in heaven there are many mansions. So it's just like it really just kind of it disturbs me when how people in the gospel can't be successful in peace.
Right.
I'm just really trying to tread lightly on this one.
But
um,
it's judgment. That's what it is. People are too busy judging.
that's what I'm saying. And the crazy thing is, they're not doing nothing no different than you starting your business. Look, man, let me
Let me tell
get
you.
out here. I mean, honestly, it really is no different. You know what I'm saying? People think that, when we represent God, that we ain't supposed to have nothing, or
Right.
it shouldn't be that perfect. Or it shouldn't say, like if you too gifted, you're not anointed. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, why can't you be gifted and anointed?
It can be both. I mean, it's the way of the world. It's the way
Yeah,
of the world. I
yeah.
mean, but I find it, that some of these gospel artists, you never hear anything negative. Like Yolanda Adams. I don't think I've ever heard anything negative about Yolanda Adams. They stay out the way. They stay out the way. They do what they're supposed to do, and they go inside.
And then they go home.
They keep it where people are not in their business because the people speculate so much. But yeah,
And the crazy
that's another
thing is,
episode for another day.
but when you get into let's get into it. Like it's like when you think about hip hop, some of these hip hop songs, most of these artists are lying to you.
Yes.
I don't need no woman, and then they're going home to a man or a woman. You
Just
know,
because that's gonna make them sell records. You know, a lot of people are not really about that life. They're not.
so you rather listen to somebody who's lying to you versus somebody who's actually trying to give God to you, and it can actually work the same way as the person that's
Mhm.
lying. They might not get much money. They might not be on every platform. They might not
Mhm.
get all the awards that these people over here are getting. But I mean, the whole point is that everybody belongs to the Lord. And even these artists over here, they started a church just like these people over here.
Sure did.
You know what
Sure
I'm saying?
did. That I'm telling you. So now, so
Yeah,
you had the privilege of working with some incredible artists like Tye
oh,
Tribbett. That you talk about Tye Tribbett.
for real?
You talking about, look at him. Doobie H. Powell, Bryan Popin. I think that's the last name, Popin.
You
How did
serious?
these collaborations shape your musical style and your career?
Oh man. Well, let's get back to Tye. So pretty much, because I don't want to like flex that, you know what I mean? Um, I'm not totally responsible for what's on my resume. It was just something that was presented to me, like, hey, you know, you need to start a resume, so people can actually see it and be blessed by your journey and da 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 da. Da. I'm just like, nah, I don't want people to think that I'm, you know, boastful, bragging, or you know.
Right.
But the whole situation with Tye, um, when I first when my wife and I, when we came up here as visitors in Orlando, shout out to Lit Church Orlando. When we came out here, we were coming out here as visitors. And so then it's like, man, we found ourselves coming like every month, at least like 2 Sundays out the month, at least. And so it's like we fell in love with the ministry, and you know, people, they started gravitating to who we were, and you know, we started getting familiar with them. And so that's what influenced us, you know, to move. We really just love the teachings, the awesome worship. Um, so I started going to these rehearsals when I first moved here. I started going to the rehearsals. It was just band rehearsals for Sundays. So, you know, I would just sit and listen, just being a sponge, um, listening to the different style of music. Because when I got here, I didn't know what Bethel music was. I didn't even know what Hillsong. I didn't know none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I came out of a Baptist church. You know what I'm saying? I came out of Granddaddy and them church. You know what I mean? So yeah, 'cause, like honestly, I was a musician. Before I get back to that, I was playing for my grandfather. Um, he only had at that particular time, because he was pastoring a big church or whatever, and you know, kind of scaled it down. You know, after he started having health problems, um, it kind of reduced to like 10 members maybe, because it was, you know, a lot smaller. And but I remember just playing 5, 10 people. You know, not even getting paid for it.
Wow.
But you know, but I showed up every Sunday and I kept doing it. And so I believe that God took that. He said, all right, cool. You know, since you did that, let me take you over here.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even, honestly, I've always wanted, am I too loud?
Mm.
Okay, yeah. So honestly, you know, I'm sorry because I get excited. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I just knew that the desire of just being under the ministry. I don't care if I did a record or not, and I still hadn't even done a record yet. But anyway, so when I moved to Orlando, I went to the rehearsals, just listening to the music, just being a sponge, but I kept coming. The
Right.
musician who's over the band, he encouraged me, keep coming, keep showing up. You know, even though you ain't got what you want yet, keep showing up, keep doing it. And then he also told me, he was talking about fear. Don't allow fear to control you, because if you allow fear to control you, you'll miss out on every
Everything.
thing. He's don't even work. Because I told him, I was like, man, I don't know this, I don't know that. Like, bro, like, how you going? You know what I mean? But of course, you know, that was a little later on. But yeah, but he also, encouraged me to not not allow fear to come in. So I would go to these rehearsals every week, every other week, or whatever, whenever I was available. And so just from that, when I finally got the first opportunity, uh, he had to take an early flight. So now this was in the middle of Tye preaching, right? And so he left, and I'm just like, well, who gonna play for you? Me. But of course, I already knew that, but I didn't think it was going. I didn't know I was gonna play for him while he was preaching. Now, when Tye preaching, he did. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, who gonna play for him? So I went out there, and I mean, this was at the Holy Land back then. So, you know what the Holy Land looks like down here, the Coliseum before they tore it down.
Yeah, before they shut it down. That was the worst thing they could have done is shut that down. Oh, that was an amazing experience at Holy Land.
It was so beautiful.
Ooh.
And so, man, when I went out on that stage and I saw everybody out there, I'm like, yo, it's different when you just going to church. But when you on an assignment, now keep in mind, live, the cameras are rolling. Man, when you see everybody out there, I was terrified because I was just like, I don't know. Like, I knew it's one thing to dream something. But
right.
Man, when that dream is in your head and in your face. So, I played, and, of course, I fumbled starting out, and I was like, oh my God, they're not going to call me back. So, so after that Sunday, that Sunday night, was it that Sunday night or was it another time? So anyway, after that Sunday, I was like, man, can I get another shot? Like I was just too nervous that Sunday. I don't know if I could, so I was just panicking. So, but they called me back again. The musician called me back again. Say, hey man, can you do this for me? So I went in there, did what I did, and it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like I was starting to feel more comfortable. And so then I got another shot, and keep in mind, this was more like second half of the service, not the whole service. It's like the second half, pretty much from the preaching, coming to a close, so it was just something more chill, you know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. But again, despise not the small beginnings. You know what I'm saying? So if that's my starting place, to God be the glory. You know what I'm saying? Right. So because many people are praying to be where you are. You know what I mean? Many people are praying to be where you are. So I mean, I got stories for days, like just for days about that. But I'm just really grateful that I was able to, participate in that. And can't wait to see what God is going to do. Now, Doobie, I'm gonna tell you what Doobie Powell. He's a well-known musician. He caters to the musicians. Amazing human being. I mean, very humble. Doobie Powell actually came to my home church that my grandfather was pastoring, and he was doing a concert for somebody who I knew, I ain't really know, but I knew of him. So like they did a concert together. So that was my first time seeing him. Didn't get a chance to speak to him. 2015 rolls around. I seen him at the Stellar Wars. We connected. We locked in. Yes, we locked in. Then he came back here another time for a conference. I think it was Jacqueline. Ricky Dillard was here, and just several other things that was going on all at one time. And so then he's like, yeah, man, I remember you. So, we connected again, took a picture. So the very last time that I seen him, he was here again. This was during the pandemic now. We were at a spot in Tampa because he had to, perform or whatever. So, I showed up to support, And so it was just ever since then, it was just an amazing night. So the next day, he asked me to go up there and play the drums.
Nice.
And so, and I believe that night, I think it was like a shed or something like that. And so I didn't understand, what the shed was for. I don't know. But that's how we got locked in, and we had an amazing time. So listen, I'm just sharing all of that to say, regardless of what the opportunity is, if an opportunity is available for you to be in the room, get in the room. Get in the room. Like, just don't try to get on, just get in, man.
Get in the room.
Like, don't stop trying to get on. And that pretty much goes back to the question that you asked. Like, what do you think that's missing? And people want to get on, but they just not trying to sit in the room.
Get in the room.
Sit in the room. That's all God wants us to do, man. Just show up.
Man, show up here. I think show up is my words for the rest of this year. I had a coach named Tammy Nicole to tell me that about showing up for myself. And I'm telling you, since she said, how do you show up for yourself? It made me start thinking, like, am I really showing up for myself?
Yeah. Because I ask myself that every day. Like, am I really doing all that I can do? Like, am I really being consistent in this area? You know what I'm saying? And I know sometimes when it comes down to gospel music, that question that you asked, that is just so loaded. And I'm actually thinking of things as we go. I'm not going to cap. Gospel music needs more support.
Yes.
Gospel music needs more support. And I think, a lot of us indie artists that are actually gifted and anointed at what we do, it really just kind of backfires because of the lack of support. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much that I can hit. But just, if I had to encourage you, because I don't want to make this a venting session. If I had to encourage you, I would simply say, continue to remain who you are. Continue to remain humble. You know what I'm saying? Go into every room humble. I don't care who you work with. Be humble, because there's somebody out there that has done way more than you. Yes. That's better than you. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I know when I walk in rooms, especially when watch this. Go in rooms. I think I heard TJ say this one year. Go in rooms that are bigger than you.
Oh.
Because as long as you continue to show up in rooms where it's comfortable for you, you'll make that room about you. But go into a room that's bigger than you, you'll become what you see in the room.
Wow. You blew some minds with that now.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, and the crazy thing is, me starting out, I hadn't even put out no record, but it's just crazy because big time people will always hit me up, bigger. I'm just like, how is everybody outside of my area? At that time, I was living in Greensboro, or in North Carolina. I don't know if it was Greensboro or Burlington, but I always had bigger connections than me, but I never understood why, because I hadn't even released that record yet. I hadn't even done nothing. But I guess when people see the authenticity, when people see your heart, when people see that you got your head on straight, people don't mind connecting to you. They don't mind connecting with you. You know what I'm saying? So walk in every room humble. Don't walk in there, looking to be put on, because nobody owes you anything.
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying?
You owe it to yourself, but they don't owe it to you.
Yeah. You, if anything, if anybody owes you, you owe you.
You owe yourself.
You know I don't care, because maybe an opportunity, it might not come in that room, but just the fact that you are in that room and that you're learning from that room, you can apply what you've learned here and doing it in the next room. You see what I'm saying? So, exactly. So it's almost like a job almost. It's like, some jobs we take just for the experience. for our own personal business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or like if you're going to school, you're going to school to get the degree. You know, you ain't got clients yet. So, but when it's time for you to start your business, you'll draw clients.
Absolutely. That's how it always is. That's how it always is. So I have one more question for you about your journey as an artist, because we gotta touch on your podcast. You know, we gotta get that out there too. So if you had to pick one of your songs to represent your entire career up until this point right now, which song would you choose?
Cause right now I'm thinking about my unreleased music right now. So I mean, is this released or unreleased?
Either or.
Okay, I want to go with the unreleased. I have this one song called "Patiently Waiting."
Catchy title.
Patiently Waiting. It's more like a Kirk Franklin vibe or whatever, but it's just, you know, because I don't want to give it away. But that's the name of the song. It's called "Patiently Waiting." You know, we all have things that we all have dreams and, you know, vision and goals that we are waiting on God to fulfill. And with that comes with a lot of denials, rejection, and, you know, it's almost like it's a lot of red tape that you got to cut through, you know, before you see the fulfillment of everything. And so that's pretty much what that song is talking about. But since we're talking about, you know, release music right now, I would have to say "In Your Presence." I would have to say "In Your Presence" because that's what we need. That's what we all need to be at the end of the day. You know, none of this stuff, none of this industry stuff, charts, none of that is going to be in heaven.
Right.
We just going to be in the presence of God every single day, giving God glory. So, you know, I'll have to say "In Your Presence."
I love it. I love it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to play a snippet of what you do with your podcast so they can get an idea. And then when we come back, I'm gonna dive into some questions about that. All right.
Okay.
In most of our black churches, I said, I don't know if you noticed this, but here lately, most of our sermons has been about cutting people off and prosperity.
Yeah. My Lord.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but then when you go to a white church or a mixed church, they talk about love and unity, and it's just like, wow. So it just really made me think about our Christian dating.
Ooh, you went deep on that one now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just kind of cap on that one. That's actually it was a radio show that I was doing. It was a radio show. And I had a slot on that particular show. And I can't remember what the topic was. I think the topic was me interviewing Mariah and Thomas Collins. So they have their own
it was comedians, right?
Yeah,
They're comedians, right?
Yeah, comedians. Yeah. So, you know, they have their own podcast, their own marriage podcast. And so, you know, I was pretty much asking them questions, you know, about Christian dating. And, you know, I don't want to get political, but pretty much what I was stating in that was it's like in our African American culture, it's like we're so divided. Like we don't really support each other. It's like we don't love each other. It's like one is trying to outdo the other. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even talking about relationships yet, even though that's what that clip was talking about. But I'm just talking about us as individuals. But then, you know, you experience another culture, and it's like it's love, they embrace, it's unity, and just it's just like, well, why can't we do that? So that's what that clip was talking about. So as far as the podcast, the podcast is called OMG LIT. In the clip that you just saw, that was actually an OMG radio show. It's an OMG LIT radio show. I just kept the same name. It was just for radio, right?
Nice.
So the podcast actually debuted during the pandemic 2020. And I've been had that vision since 2016. So the podcast itself, it caters to independent artists, small businesses, and I've also had celebrity guests on there like Maurice Lochner from the Tyler Perry stage plays. Lexus Spite was on there. Who else did I have on there? Of course, Doobie, he allowed me to use some of his music for the podcast as well. And that's a podcast that I'm still growing. I currently have 5 episodes right now, but it caters to musicians and independent artists. And I also have educational moments on there. So I might have a special guest right before the celebrity guest. I might have a special guest on there advertising their business. Like I had this one girl talking about how to upload your music.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So like we start out with music, and then from the music we'll go into the small businesses, and then I had a celebrity guest to kind of close out, give words of encouragement and things of that nature. But I always try to make it entertaining, educational, and inspiring at the same time. I package all of that because that's conference. That's conference right there. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much package all of that into a reality type feel, but of course you won't really see that until episode 3, maybe 4. So I wanted to give it that feel to reach people who are unchurched. I wanted people to see, God in a different way outside of church, because during that time, during the pandemic, nobody was in church. And I have a lot of musicians and a lot of artist friends that was without jobs. So I was just like, man, how can I keep God alive? How can I, keep the inspiration and, keep people motivated? So then that's when I came out with the show. It gave people visibility. I allowed people to sell their products, their goods, services on the show. I didn't ask anybody for money to be a part of the show because, we all going through, you know what I'm saying? And I still keep it that way. You know what I mean? And so
Nice.
that's how
Now, with faith being your the central of everything that you do, both in music, through the podcast and everything, how do you keep your faith strong in such a demanding and unpredictable industry? And how does that influence you and your work ethic?
Well. Let's see. How do I keep my faith strong? I don't know if I honestly just, being a human being, I can't say that I've always kept my faith strong. You know what I'm saying? But just being in this godless industry, is you really just have to focus on the assignment. You really have to focus on your purpose for doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes every song, every gospel song, every scripture, every preach, those things are good, but those things don't keep you all the time.
Oh, no.
Okay, never mind. Those things don't always keep you all the time. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you are in the face of temptation. That stuff is just not, we ain't even talking about industry yet. We're just talking about everyday life. Like that's even, it don't sit with you all the time, because you're going to have people that's going to test you. You're going to have people that's going to tempt you. You know what I'm saying? So like gospel songs and preaching and Jesus and, the
world. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, that stuff is not going to always, be in your face like that.
Right.
But I do believe that, the word says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and then the blessings will be added. Everything is not going to be in your face. Some things you're just going to have to seek after. You know what I'm saying? So, so like if you want a way out of temptation, seek the Lord. You know what I mean? that's the only answer I know to give. You know, is to seek for what you want God to add to your life. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I believe that that's what has you know, kept my faith strong. It's just a matter of what I'm seeking for. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, and if you're not seeking, like if it's okay, I understand that everything that we're seeking for is not Jesus stamped. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to your dreams, your career, what are you seeking? Like what do you want to come out of that? Like, why do you want to do that?
Right.
What are you seeking? You know what I'm saying? Like what? Because I mean, if you only doing this to feed you, chances are it's not going to be as successful. So like, what are you seeking from this?
Absolutely.
You want the outcome to be. So, you know, that's what's kept me humble. And I'm gonna be real with you. Oh my God, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this.
Uh-oh.
Part of what kept me humble sometimes, and when I say this, I'm making a general statement. Part of what has kept me humble is staying away from church people.
Oh no. They gonna get you. They gonna get you.
I said sometimes.
Man.
Sometimes. I probably shouldn't have said that, but sometimes.
But why though? You gotta explain why.
The reason why I say that is because some people, you know, they feel like they are more than what they are. Do you feel me? Some people feel like they're more than what they actually are, and you will actually have to be. For me, it's just a different experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against church. I love church. I go to church. I'm not even talking about my church. I'm not even talking about my church. I'm just saying just church in general. You know what I'm saying? You know, I understand, you know, you're going to deal with a little bit of everybody everywhere. And, you know, it's just always going to be something. But I just really believe, you know, uplifting the name of the Lord. I don't really think that a lot of what we are seeing today, you know, like the bashing across the pulpit.
There's too much going on today.
Stuff like that is what's kept me humble. Not the church. I'm talking about the stuff that we have recently seen, and it's just like just staying away from that.
Right.
What's you know, that you know what I'm saying? Because you know, I believe that in order to keep yourself protected, in order to keep yourself rooted and grounded, just because it has God in front of it doesn't mean that you belong there.
Right. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
That's all I'm saying. That's it. Just because it has Jesus in front of it, like Christian dating, online date, it doesn't mean that you need to download the app.
Ooh, you starting trouble now.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
man. So we are down. Man, it's been a great interview. We are down to our last question.
We done already?
Yeah.
Get started.
So looking back over your whole entire life, how the old folks say, looking back over your life, what gospel song? Because you know, when we get older, when we're young, we listen to those hymns, but we're like, really don't know what they mean. We're just singing them because mama and them said sing it. But when we get grown, we start understanding those lyrics behind those songs. So if you had to choose one gospel song that would describe your journey, what would it be and why?
My whole journey? Just one song? That's it?
That's what I said too. I can choose a couple songs that can talk about my journey.
Oh my good. I would have to say, Same God. Same God by Tye. Same God by Tye. But any other song, I have to talk about Kirk a little bit too, because I'm inspired by his music. I'm inspired by his style of writing, his touch when it comes down to music. I like songs like "What You Looking For." Like, what you looking for? What you looking for might not be here.
Right.
But no, but I like songs like "What You Looking For," "Reason Why I Sing." Oh man, Jesus Christ. I could just name so many songs, but if I just had to choose one song, I would have to say, I have to say "Same God." I have to say "Same God."
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
would really have to say "Same God." It's just other songs that I could say, but I would have to say "Same God."
mm,
You know, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're struggling with, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. It's the same God. You know what I'm saying? So, like, whether if we're dealing with industry, whether if you're dealing with your job, whether if you're dealing with your home, same God. Different day, same God. Another year, same God.
I love it. I love it. So this is the part that I like to call the BTS 30 seconds of fame.
Okay.
I'm gonna do your countdown. I
Mhm.
always say this: if when we come back, you're gonna be on the platform by yourself. This is your moment to shine, to let everybody know how to follow your journey, where to find your music, what's coming up next for you in 2025. This is your moment, and to give a little snippet of advice to the younger generation. I always ask everybody give some kind of advice to the younger generation because there's a lot. Some of them are lost out here. So just uplift the younger generation. So I'm gonna play your countdown. We come back.
All right.
It's on you.
Okay.
We gon' praise God in here, y'all. Listen. They said I wouldn't make it.
They said I wouldn't make it.
Said I wouldn't make it through.
They said I wouldn't make it through.
Hey, I just wanna let you know that
I made it.
we've been last for a night.
We've been last for a night.
Joy coming in the morning.
Joy coming in the morning.
Not by power nor by might.
It's not by power nor by
Just know
might.
that.
Yo, this is your boy T-Keyz Hawkins on 30 Seconds of Fame. Y'all listen. You can find me on social media. T-Keyz Hawkins, T-Keyz. Again, T-Keyz Hawkins, Hawkins. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, same thing, TikTok, same thing. If I had to encourage you, I would say all things are possible with God. All things are possible with God. Don't do anything without God. Don't do anything without God. See God first, and then all the blessings will be added unto you. Don't do anything without God. It's hard right now. You might be struggling right now. But in due season, you shall reap if you faint not. God makes all things beautiful within his time. So continue to stay in God's face, continue to stay in God's presence, and then you'll see all the blessings be added unto you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming and gracing my platform and sitting down with me having a real conversation. We had a good time today.
Yes, man.
Today. Thank you
Yes,
so much. And I'm rooting for you. If there's anything that I can do on my side to help you further that journey,
Thank
just let me
you.
know.
Thank you. This is nice, by the way. I've really enjoyed my time here on Breaking the Silence. And
Thank you.
make sure y'all tune in, man, because this is a nice platform, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much to everyone else out there that's tuning into this amazing episode with T-Keyz. Man, we had a good time now. Did we have a good time up here? Yes, I hope that you have learned something new today. And remember, the courage to share your truth is the first step towards your healing. And every story we brings us closer to understanding, growth, and change. So if today's episode has resonated with you in some type of way, share it with someone that needs it. And let's keep breaking the silence together. So until next time, stay strong, stay inspired, and always speak your truth. Later.
In your presence.
So we give you the highest praise.
I have so much faith in you.
Let's go. Hey. Yeah. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. Because in his presence, there's fullness of joy. There's love. There's peace. There's forgiveness. Everything you need is in his presence, y'all.
In your presence, I belong to you. So much joy you bring. Lord, you're everything.
In your presence. Hey.
There is fullness of joy, fullness of peace in you.
Come on. Yeah.
I have no fear in you. I have
Make some noise. Hey.